Unit 10.
Track 72. How did that make the final cut? In the final scene of Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, calls his crew back onto the ship with a polite, "On deck, you scabrous dogs." And over his shoulder, to the left of the screen, is a man in a white t-shirt, tan hat and sunglasses, standing looking out to sea. Oops, it's a member of the film crew. This is just one of several mistakes in the film where crew or equipment are visible. There are many others which are factual. For example, Port Royal in Jamaica is built on a low spit of sand that is not more than 10 feet above sea level. In the film set, it's built on top of 100-foot cliffs. And the way the heroine's maid uses a bed warmer would have been positively dangerous. By placing it at her mistress's feet, full of red-hot coals, she would have barbecued her toes. Bed warmers held warm coals and were removed before the sleeper got into bed. Another famous film with a seafaring theme does no better. Titanic is reputed to contain more than 180 mistakes, a number of which are anachronisms. Given that the Titanic sank in 1912, it's very unlikely that Captain Smith would be wearing contact lenses, as we see in one close-up. Also, Rose would not have been able to admire Monet's The Nymphs, which he painted in 1915, and it's impossible for Jack to have gone ice fishing on Lake Wissota, as he claims, since it wasn't created until 1918. But perhaps only the eagle-eyed historians in the audience would notice these blunders. The majority of us are more likely to notice continuity mistakes, like the one involving First Officer William Murdoch. No sooner has he shot himself in one scene than he is seen trying to untie one of the lifeboats in another. We could also be forgiven for getting confused when the ship's orchestra seems to alternate between having 4 and 5 players in different shots. Or are we? Maybe we're too busy concentrating on the action to pick up on details. For example, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indiana Jones is confronted by a cobra in the Well of Souls, did you see the reflection of the snake in the safety glass between it and Harrison Ford? Incidentally, the director of this film, Steven Spielberg, tops the list of mistake-prone directors with a grand total of 1,148. You begin to wonder if some of them are deliberate, put there to see how willing we are to believe everything we see in the escapist world of the movies. This might explain some of the more obvious goofs in Die Another Day, like the one where Bond's Aston Martin flips over during a chase on the ice and part of the left wing mirror breaks off. When the car flips back over, the wing mirror is intact. We also see Jinx, Halle Berry, being cut across her stomach in the final fight scene. Yet, moments later, she and 007 are pouring diamonds over each other, and her stomach is unblemished.
Of course, we wouldn't want our heroine's beauty to be spoilt, would we? This unwritten rule must be the cause of a lot of glaring mistakes. A good example is in the 2005 remake of King Kong. The scenes in New York take place in winter, on a day cold enough for the lake in Central Park to freeze and hold Kong's weight. Yet Anne Darrow shows no hint of cold, even though she's wearing a sleeveless gown. Kong takes her to the top of the Empire State Building, where it's even colder. Not only does she show no discomfort, but she also climbs a metal ladder, holding on with her bare hands. But are all directors fallible? What about Maverick director Alfred Hitchcock, who was known for being a stickler for detail? Seldom did he start shooting a film that wasn't already completely planned in his head. So surely his films are error-free. Well, no. Take his acclaimed horror film, Psycho. When the heroine, Marion, is leaving town after stealing from her boss, she keeps checking the speedometer of her car, and you can clearly see that the gear stick is in park. Later, when she stops at the Bates Motel and shares some food with the owner, she tears the same piece of bread down the middle in 3 different shots. And even Citizen Kane, regarded by many film buffs as one of the best films ever made because of its innovative filmmaking techniques, contains 12 mistakes. One of these features a jigsaw puzzle. In the first shot of Kane's wife doing the puzzle, it's nearly complete, but in a subsequent close-up, it seems to have undone itself and is in pieces again. Is in an outdoor picnic scene. Director Orson Welles did not have enough money to film on location, so he had to shoot the scene in the studio using back projection. The footage he used was from King Kong, and 4 pterodactyls can clearly be seen flying by. The studio told Welles to take the pterodactyls out of the shot, but he liked them and decided to keep them. This begs the question, how many other gaffes were left in a film at the whim of its director? So, when is a mistake not really a mistake? Next time you watch Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, look out for the start of term feast. Harry sits down on the right side of the table, next to Ron. When the food appears, Harry is on the other side of the table, next to Hermione. A mistake, or just Harry showing off his magic powers? I'll leave you to decide. After all, in the world of the movies, everything is magical.